Howdy, howdy, howdy guys, it's Fish. This is my first ever video. I don't have any prior experience editing or content creation of any sort, so I'll throw in a few clips here and there on the downtime to just show what I struggled with on the editing side. And if you guys have any tips, I would be more than glad to have them. What I'm doing right now is just mapping out the entire map with units from camp to camp. I put myself at max movement speed. Right there, I give myself a giant's ring, but I decided against that because I wanted to do the distance from camp to camp just as walking. You can add blank later, whatever, but your flat farm rate is going to be mostly walking. And I just go from camp to camp with a stopwatch, and I multiply the seconds times 550, and that's the amount of units. This might feel like it's overdoing it, but it will allow you to have the proper information to go from a suboptimal farming scenario where a teammate steals your camp or you run into a block camp, and make the most out of any scenario and overall boost your farm. This entire min-maxing is more for a personal preference, and I just really like to nerd out on this kind of stuff. I like to min-max a lot, and you'll see that a lot in future videos. This is right now for a challenge called the Cookie Challenge that I'm just trying to be on as many heroes as possible. And if you don't know what the Cookie Challenge is beforehand, all it is you have 30 minutes to get 900 CS. Now, I know that's not possible on all heroes, but the idea is that I want to get it done with as many heroes possible, as well as get as close with as many heroes as, until I'm a perfect farmer. I'm finishing up this little bit right now. I'll show you the map. The little pink triangles all over the place are your camps, and the green lines are the most efficient paths from any camp. They're the shortest. The orange are a little bit longer, but you usually are able to walk it. And the red are quite a ways. You want to avoid those in most cases, and black you always want to avoid unless there's a creep wave there. That's pretty much the rules I kept for myself. I have a little bit more precise ruling for myself that I'll show you in a future video. But right now, that's your camps. And this right here is just merely the most efficient path from any camp to another camp. So basically, whenever you have a choice between a red path and a green path, you always choose the green path. This is the most efficient way, and if you mix it with the previous one, you'll get the most efficient pathing possible. There's a few spots, like if you look in the Radiant Safe Lane jungle, all three of them are green on the original one, but there's a red one here because that one's technically a little bit slower than the other one, so if you path to the right instead of to the left, it's a little bit more efficient. Your early efficiencies are the most important thing in completing the Cookie Challenge, especially as Necrophos, where you want to get every single last hit, every single deny for the first 2 or 3 waves before you can start jungling efficiently and rotating from your lane to the creep camps fast enough to not only whittle down the camp but also secure every last hit. So like right there, I barely made it, but if I were a little bit slower, I would have missed 1 or 2 depending on how long it took you to get there. Here, I'm doing the same thing again. I'm stacking here, but I should have gone to the right because now, as you can see, I missed 2 creeps instead of just maybe 1 at the cost of a stack, or ideally none at all. If I had gone to the right there, I wouldn't have missed any. They're just guiding my way a little bit in the direction I want to go. and going once more to pepper down the camps so they just die without wasting any lane efficiency right now, and stat swapping a little bit to maximize my mana pool, finishing out the creeps. And here I should have stayed on the tower, even dive into the tower to kill them all before going onto all these. Then I missed a few there just because I was being stupid and running over to the jungle a little bit prematurely. Even here I almost missed that one again, missing a few efficiencies here. I don't think I should have gotten that one. I think that my Heartstopper killed that one below me. If you look closely here, I held my Q until after the break was over, because as Necro you don't get any status stacks when you're broken. Here I'm dragging the camp into the creep waves so I can just hit all of them at the same time, just maximize my efficiency. Here it's getting pretty dead, so I'm gonna hop over onto a cutscene, explain a little bit on what I struggled with as I was making this, and see if any of you guys can help me. I'm really insecure about my voice and just stutters or whatever. My recording audio is pretty bad. I'm literally sitting underneath a blanket right now with my computer and my phone, recording audio in 30-second chunks before I inevitably stutter or forget to say. But yeah, that's my biggest issue, I think. I've had a few other issues on the editing side, but that's the one that really gets on my nerves. It's probably the biggest thing that's taken me so long to do this. Like, I pounded out all the editing, everything for the video in about 3 days, and I never touched it again until yesterday when I started doing the voiceover all over again. I'll let you guys get back to watching the game and judging me on my farm patterns, because that's what you came here to do. Holding the Q again so that I don't lose stacks is really important. Here I think Occult Bracelet is the wrong neutral. Either of the other ones give me more mana and an easier way to do it. Royal Jelly's a little bit more, not a whole lot, but it also gives me a chance to use it when I'm low. And same thing with Arcane, when I can stat swap really easy for it. It's kind of useful. I don't know if I should have grabbed the Lotuses there. They're useful, but it's a lot of time to grab it. It turned out to be okay there, but the most important thing about the early game for the cookie is your pathing, and if you path incorrectly at all, you can kind of screw up your entire run. Like right now, I missed a creep over there. I am getting a little bit later Radiance than I would like. Actually, it looks like I didn't miss that creep. My Heartstopper probably killed it. But yeah, I think Radiance is greedy, but I'm not sure what to substitute it with. I could do mana, but I think you need a lot more than just mana. And Radiance allows you to hit stuff harder, walk around a lot better, and just kill things as you go. It's quite a bit faster, saves you a lot more mana than having to waste all your Qs. Here I should have gone to the lane instead of farming all these. I missed quite a bit of CS doing that. Not entirely sure right now. Yeah, it's like 3 or 4, which is kind of huge. It's only as much as I got from killing the stack. I usually leave the siege creep. It just takes a long time to kill. It's 1 CS, and right now only numbers matter. If I were actually in a game, depending on the hero, I would kill it. If I were like a Necro, I always leave it as Necro, but if I could consistently kill it like a Pudge or something, I would 100% stay there and kill it. I think if it takes more than 3 or 4 hits to kill it, it's a waste of time, especially now as we're getting a little bit further along. I have Radiance, I have bonus damage, and it just takes way too long to kill him. That double stack right there is really valuable. Even in my own games, I'll do it. It's just a lot faster to go up there after you nuke a wave and grab it. see how I didn't go to the left there? It's a huge inefficiency to hit dead-end camps. That's right there is the reason I bought the quelling, is just for path efficiency. It won't be a total thing. I'm going to get rid of it as fast as possible, but it's pretty useful right now to just farm without having to walk around a lot of the trees. Saves like 4 seconds to go through that way instead of going around it. And there's a lot of places like that, like both small camps by the Twin Gates over on the Radiant side, one of the camps up on the Dire side by the Twin Gate. There's a camp over by the Tier 1 tower on the safe lane. In Radiant, there's a camp right there, right by where I just passed. If you cut through to the left there, it's pretty efficient. It saves you a couple seconds. These aren't super game-changing efficiencies, but when you consider them all added up one by one, that's 2 seconds for each one. If you have, say, 30 different inefficiencies every game, that you're gaining a full minute, which at a good pace is 15 to 20 CS, which is pretty large. I don't think I like my itemization this game. I definitely should have gone more damage. I don't really need the arcanes. They are amazing as a 6th item, but I think move speed or damage is just way too overpowered. Here I did the light collector just to replace the quelling blade. It's the same idea. You walk through, you cut down a bunch of the trees, and it gives you a lot better pathing. Probably should have done it right there. That's a good spot to do it, but should have done a little bit to the left. And overall, it's just really, really fast. Like I said, I really hate my itemization. Here, my sticky keys went off again. If you guys know how to fix that, please comment or something. Tell me about it. I don't know how to fix it. It's been a problem for a long time. And yeah, so I think I should have gone Octarine and my Shard a lot sooner. Those would have boosted my speed, probably gotten me up to 700 or maybe even 800 this round. That would have been a really huge thing. My record is 704 right now. I've only done it like 3 times, but it's really rewarding to do this for me. It seems pretty boring, but after a few bad games of Dota, it's just really rewarding to not have to put up with other people and just get better at the game. There I crossed again, only because there was a creep wave. I like to cross periodically just because there's bounty runes on each, like they add up over time. I did a bad light collector there. I should have saved it for right here. That big tree is usually the one you want to cut with a quelling, but it's a lot faster if I just light collector it. And I'm back to another cycle, going round and round. I always try to grab the creep wave if there's one close. There's just a lot more gold and there's a lot more creeps in a small confined space. Here I went to the left to the dead end just because I could get that stack at the same time and not lose too much efficiency. You usually want to avoid it, but there I got a double stack and it allowed me to go pretty fast. I don't like skilling my W, but on those 2 camps right there, they're really close together that if I get some status stacks going, I can kill both waves pretty well. Here I cross again to creep wave right there. Should be one spawning soon if I come back. Yep. Get all that and go all over again. And just go around and around the hamster wheel, stacking every time you get a chance. I think I need to go and do a run through of just max stacking and see how many stacks I could possibly get. min-max that. I average about 20-25 every game that I do this, and 5, 6, 7 in a real game. But I want to get even better at it. Here, Cloak Flame, just a lot more DPS. It's pretty obvious why I did that one. I'm really kicking myself for not doing the travels like 10 minutes earlier, just because move speed is huge, especially as Necro, where I can clear a camp in shorter time than it actually takes to kill a camp for most heroes. Like Luna, you have to right click it a few times, but Necro, I can literally just walk by eventually. Once I get my Ags, my Radiance, the Cloak of Flames, it's a lot of damage. You can just walk by. That's why I think he's one of the few heroes who could do it that isn't a right clicker, Divine Rapier builder, or whatever. There's my record, 649. Like I said, it's not my absolute highest. I think that's the second highest. I don't know exactly how many times I've done it, 3 or 4. It's definitely not my best, but definitely not my worst. I think the first time I did it, I got barely 600 and then immediately jumped to 630, then went to 700, and now I'm back down a little bit. I'm toying around with build and getting a feel for things. Here's one of the things that I did. The map scene that I did earlier on, all of that is what I did to just get this one little clip. And if you guys have any tips on how to make it easier on me, make it look better, because it's kind of choppy there. You can see everything jittering around after I changed the color and everything. I just really want it to look good, and yeah, this is a pretty good run. I appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching this, or giving me any comments if you have them. I'm always up for feedback, and if you guys want to judge me on my pathing or itemization, go ahead and message me. Thank you guys. Goodbye.